Ben here with Peak Pursuit's YouTube channel. Welcome to Peavine Mountain. Towering over Reno, Nevada is a must-visit for outdoor enthusiasts. In this video, I'm highlighting 3 routes with great views and increasing elevation on Peavine Mountain, ranked from easy to moderate to hard. Beginning in the high desert sagebrush, each hike gets higher on the mountain and passes through diverse plant communities on the way to Peavine's summit. Rising to 8,266 feet, this iconic peak offers stunning 360-degree views of Truckee Meadows, the Sierra Nevada, the Carson Range, the North Valleys, and beyond. With over 90 miles of trail for hiking, jogging, mountain biking, and off-roading, it's a playground for adventure seekers. At higher elevations, fortunate hikers may be lucky enough to spot some of the diverse wildlife that lives in the area, including members of a large mule deer herd. Despite the plethora of communication equipment that litters the twin summits, the view from the top is absolutely stunning, particularly at sunset. So come join me as I count down my top choices for the 3 levels of Peavine Mountain. Starting with Level 1, an easy hike to Peavine Mine Overlook. making my way up to Peavine Peak. It is a stiff 3,000 foot climb, and it should take me about 5 hours, I'm planning. Gonna leave a mark. 2.6 miles in, 1,500 feet. So that's about halfway in terms of elevation. Probably hard to see, but there are a couple of mule deer right there. They're probably part of a larger herd that lives here on Peavine. These mule deer do not seem bothered by me. So as you can see, here is Peavine Road. That will take you all the way up to Peavine Peak. I'm taking a more adventurous route up the ridgeline on a cheap road. That scratch is unfortunate. This is a pretty steep section, but lots of great views opening up. Check in, 2,200 feet, almost 4 miles, a little bit further. Very interesting trail, super steep. Even if you were taking an ATV or a motorcycle or something, this would be extremely sketchy. Very manageable on foot though. I think another 500 or 600 feet, I should be there. Made it. So my goal was to get to Peavine Peak by sunset, which is at 8:06. It's 8 o'clock. Time to fly the drone. So I did plan this as a sunset hike, which means I'll be hiking back in the dark, but I'm gonna go ahead and make a loop out of it. So instead of taking this trail back down the way I came up, I'm gonna hook up with the main road, and then that will just get me back to the section where there's all the OHV trails. So maybe a mile or so. It's starting to get cold. So that is Peavine Peak. Took me about 4 hours to get up to the peak. Well, actually it took me 4 hours to get here. It took me about 3.5 hours to get to the peak. But I was filming a lot, so I'm sure you could do that in like 2.5 hours. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there are rattlesnakes on this trail. I never saw any, but I did read a report in Alltrails that someone saw a rattlesnake just a few days ago. I was pretty stoked to see the mule deer. I knew that was a possibility coming into this. Is the icing on the cake. All right, I guess now's a good time to bust out the headlamp. Gotta stop for a snack, oh yeah. So one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm wearing gaiters. I happen to have these lying around from my Lost Coast trail hike from a couple months ago. Super useful, worth every penny. So that took about an hour and a half to get down from Peavine Peak, and a total of about 3.5 hours to get to the top. But I probably took a solid hour just filming, so you should be able to get to the top in like 2.5, 3 hours, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and link this hike below if you wanna know the specifics on the route taken. It ended up being a little bit of a loop. It was a good one. I'm ready to go home and take a shower. Over and out.